take a look here at the center of the ball and the center of the club face. If you put the ball right there, where is the bottom of the ball and in relationship to the bottom of the club face? It's up in the air.
Yeah.
So what does that mean if you're striking the ball? What do you think that means? Yeah, if you can get the bottom of your club underneath, right, the bottom of the ball, you're going to hit it in the sweet spot. And I think that's the problem with that shot is we look at that and we say, okay, we're going to take the bottom of our club and run it into the back of the ball. But that's not the case at all. What you have to do is you have to actually get the bottom of the club below the height of the ball. Right? Now, when you're in the rough, I like to describe the rough as having 3 different heights. Okay? One height is at the very bottom. That ball is just kind of stuck right down at the bottom, right near the dirt itself, underneath the soil. The next place is in the middle, where it's just sitting partially up in the grass, and the other spot would be right at the very, very top. Now when it's at the top, that's probably when you have your best pitch shots, because you get the club up underneath the ball just fine and it flies through the air. When you have your worst ones is when that ball is nestled way down. And this is what happens. We do one of 2 things. We either take our normal swing, blade it, because we're not getting the club low enough, and we shoot it over the green, or we recognize, hey, that ball is sitting way down, I'm going to hack down into it, and then we don't get anywhere because the club ends up, all that power ends up just slamming into the ground. Right? So it doesn't matter where the ball is sitting and how deep the rough is, you still have to create this arc. Okay, and what'll happen is you'll actually enter and exit the grass at a different point. If I put the ball here and I set it down and I make a swing just with the pitching wedge, okay, I'm swinging on this side, how much grass do you see is being affected by the arc of my swing?
Long distance.
You know, at least a foot there. I see the grass like Velcro getting brushed, starting here all the way to here. Well, that's how you're supposed to play the shot. You're supposed to have your club contact a lot of that rough. Where we run into trouble is when we just go straight down on the ball itself, right? There's no sweeping or brushing. There's no arc to that. So the trick is make sure you're making the swing like a putter, number 1. Number 2 is make sure you're swinging for an appropriate speed, appropriate distance. If I'm only hitting a little short chip, I might only swing this much. If I have to pitch it 40 yards, I might swing this way, right? Get my arm moving back and forth. The last thing is don't try to adjust for the ball by hitting down and changing that arc. Once you've got your swing going like this and you've figured out how much it should swing, go ahead and let the club run into whatever grass it chooses to run into. The outcome of the shot is not entirely dependent on you connecting with the ball first. It's perfectly okay because you're strong enough. The grass is weaker, you're able to power through it. Now if we're talking about grass up here, that might be a different story, but this short rough, fairway height grass for sure, what you're attempting to do is just repeat that swing. And once you do that, you also get a feel for the resistance that the grass is going to place on your swing. Right? If I make this swing right here for that shot out of the rough, I might only have to make this much swing out of the fairway because I don't have the same amount of resistance from the fairway grass. So, choose to swing like a putter. Figure out how hard to swing. Then figure out the surface that you're on. Right? If you're on the rough or the fairway, that'll change how much power you put into it. Because right away, and this is what happens to a lot of people, their ball might be sitting right on the edge of the rough. They'll do their practice swings in the fairway grass. Right? You're not getting the correct feedback in your hands. and then all of a sudden you get up here, and then what happens, it just kind of stops because you didn't predict how much resistance you were going to have. So always rehearse the shot in the environment that your ball is sitting in. Then you know, oh wow, this is kind of sticky today, or I'm in a area around a bunker that's a little thicker today. I need to practice and make some more swings so that I get some better feedback. Okay, so ball in the middle of the stance, swinging the arc, figure out the speed, figure out the resistance, and you do all of that in your rehearsing and practicing. Once you figure that out, then it's time to step up to the ball and hit. Don't rush that process. Don't just walk up and hit it unless you really have gone through that in your head. You'll see a lot of good golfers do that, just step up and hit, but I guarantee you even subconsciously they've kind of processed everything they need to do to hit that shot. So, does anybody have any questions?
Is it any different when you're standing on the side of a hill like this?
Anytime.
Because then as you're swinging through, you're
yeah, exactly. You're going to run into the side of the hill, or you might, when you're coming up a hill, yeah, you'll kind of run into it, and then the opposite happens when you're going down the hill. You get to here, and then all of a sudden the club accelerates and speeds because it's not running into any more of the hill. So when you're in those different situations, the answer is always do the rehearsing, always do the practicing. Right? Because if you're on that hill and all of a sudden you feel like your club just accelerates because you're going down, then you're going to want to tilt your body so that you get that club stays in contact with the grass a little bit longer, so that you get that same consistent sweep. Same thing going up the hill. If you're running up the hill and all of a sudden your club is slamming into it, it's probably because you're leaning on the hill too much this way, and that arc is hitting and just kind of running into the hill. If you tilt your body with the hill a little bit as you swing, now the club will the arc will run up the hill this way.
So you tilt your body with the hill whatever way.
Correct.
That might be, okay.
Yeah, just keep your body with the hill because you want that arc to move with you. Right? If you're going up the hill this way, you tilt back and the arc looks like this.
Okay.
If you're going down the hill, you tilt your body this way and the arc looks the same. See, if you kept your body up here and the hill's like this, the arc doesn't match the direction that the hill is on. Okay? And then I would recommend, if you don't have a 60-degree, get one. If you have a sand wedge, that might be just fine. Just don't be afraid to use it. If you've got the sand wedge, it's not just for the sand. You can use it for any of these shots. And again, you've got to get out there and do a little practice.
Okay.
Put your ball in the rough, put it in the fairway, and see what kind of results you get. Okay? Thank you very much.
Good lesson. Good lesson.